Well, a very good evening to everyone. It is 2 minutes past 8 over here in the UK. Wolves have had a 12:30 lunchtime kickoff against the reigning champions of England, Manchester City, over at the Etihad Stadium. For myself, it was up nice and early today. Got to Manchester, had a cup of tea and a fairly low-rated breakfast in Asda before the game, and then had a walk up to the game. And obviously, the match day experience vlog will be out sometime on Sunday. We have some fantastic guests on the show tonight, and obviously all you guys in the chat that are joining us here today. And we've got a lot to sort of get stuck into today. Another performance from Wolves where they've been on the wrong end of a 1-0 scoreline. We saw early in the season 3 games where they played teams off the park and lost 1-0. And we've seen in the last 2 games where we've been playing 2 out of the 3 title challenges for this year. We've got Chelsea next weekend, of course. Liverpool last week, 94th minute defeat after playing so valiantly. And then today we've gone away to the champions and we've basically lost the game 1-0 on what is a hotly disputed penalty that even went to a VAR review. There's lots of talk around that. And of course, we've also got to talk about the Raul Jimenez red card, a double yellow, 2 yellow cards within the space of 10 seconds or something like that. And I think I haven't seen any of this back, but I'm really going to be interested to hear what you guys have to say in the chat that have watched it, and also my guests that are coming off. If you've seen it, those were there, watch it on the TV, because apparently I think the reason that Raul lost it was because he felt he didn't even touch the player. We're going to get stuck into all of that. There's so much to talk about. Again, it's another game gone where Wolves have failed to score. 0-1 to City, 0-1 to Liverpool, 0-0 with Burnley. And then I think there was another 0. It's been about 4 games now. Is there a problem with the striking department? We can make exceptions for today, of course, because we were down to 10 men for half the game. And actually, we nearly managed to sneak an equaliser right at the end, but it wasn't to happen. Just going to have a look in the chat before we bring on our first guests. Thanks for everyone for joining. Let us know where you're watching in the world today. Put in where you're watching in the world today, and we'll put that up on the screen. And if you've got any questions for our guests, please. And I also want to thank, of course, the sponsors of today's show, Spider VPN, who provide great VPN routers for your home and deliver anywhere in the world. And you can check out the link to their offering in the description below. So without any further ado, we're going to get on a local lad to me who I actually saw at the game, sat around about 3 or 4 rows behind me. Robbie, how you doing?
I'm better now alone, mate.
Well, you've had a little bit of an interesting journey home. How long have you actually been home? Bearing in mind the game finished at, let's call it 2:30.
Yeah. Well, I was up about 6, trained to Wolverhampton about 6:45, and I've probably been back for about half an hour.
So how come it's taken you so long? Because I got back, even after going to Starbucks, having a cake and a cup of tea and chatting to some City fans for about 45 minutes, and still got back for about 5:30, and I've had my tea.
Yeah, we come out and the police were like get straight on the coach and whatever, because there was a little bit of trouble. Got on, then we had to wait ages to get off the coach park. Then I think we took a wrong turning, so we've gone the wrong side of Manchester from the ring road. The pub stop was a joke, we were there too long. And yeah, I'm back now. That's the most important thing, and I just can't wait to get home and get to bed.
Well, we've got people in Albrighton, sun-kissed utopia of Stafford, LA Wolf fan, LACFC Wolf fan is watching from Los Angeles, California. So, Adam, there's a fellow Wolves fan that you might be able to hook up with there, mate. Carl's watching from Swanage in Dorset. David's in a snowy Sweden. And then Merv's watching from his shed. LA Wolf says, welcome to the show, Robbie. Stu Kelsey's
Thank you very much.
And Katie's saying, wonder how much Manchester City played the ref. Well, let's get stuck into the ref, Robbie. I mean, what do you think of who was the ref today? I can't think. Is it John Moss?
Yeah.
What do you think of his performance?
Well, I've got to be honest, I can't say I'm a big fan of his anyway. And it wasn't until I come out of the game that I realised that it was Andre Mariner on VAR. So I think we were all facing an uphill struggle against, like the big team bias. I think with Jimenez's, sending off, I think the first yellow was very, very soft. It was harsh. But the second one, for me, look, I know he's kicked the ball away and, he sort of like obstructed the free kick. He stopped him from taking it. But if you're John Moss in that situation, and I'm not just saying it because it was, Wolves, and I said it if it was the other way around, for me, you'd say, look, calm down, stop letting your emotions get the better of you, just walk away rather than just letting him, harsh. To be fair, he didn't look like he struggled to pull the second yellow out in the red. I think he knew exactly what he was doing. Yeah. I don't think he was going to ever just sort of try and calm him down or talk to him or anything.
Have you managed to watch the incidents back, Robbie, yet?
Yeah, I watched that one briefly on the coach back and the Matinho penalty appeal, which for me is an absolute joke. How that even needed checking, I don't know. But we were robbed. But like I posted on my Twitter when we come out that it took the champions of England, a very good Pep Guardiola team, a man advantage, and a dodgy false penalty to beat us. Other than that, I think we played quite well. Other than I think when Adama got taken off, that sort of just nullified any sort of attacking threat that we got. To be honest, after that it was just quite dull. Other than Kilman's potentially last-minute equaliser.
Yeah, I mean, he got to that. I mean, that was again Daniel. I think it was Daniel Podence that got the cross in. He's good at chipping those balls across. Daniel is, and it felt to me that we had a game plan. The game plan was really working. I would never. Yeah. I watched the. Obviously, you were there. Oh, by the way, mate, I've been editing my match vlog, and you can see you a few times behind me, so you have to look out for that when you. I nearly said,
we're behaving myself.
Yeah, you're behaving yourself, definitely. And
not that I ever missed.
Kilman did. It was probably a fairly comfortable save in the end, and then there was a corner at the end, and there was just no one on the back post to just scramble it over the line. But I thought the game plan went very well up until the point that Raul got sent off. I think he was distraught on the way off. He was probably regretted it. Probably no. I mean, I've listened to Bruno Lage giving his thoughts on it, but everyone's sees the red mist from time to time. I think he just felt a sense of injustice, and that's why he was doing what he was. And then,
you can completely understand that. I think we'd have all been exactly the same. I think that's why why I point out that I think John Moss should have just been just calm down a little bit, move on, let them take the free kick, and then let play continue. Because I do think we did play really well anyway, but with Jimenez on the pitch, we probably could have gone on and nicked that, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I thought the game plan was going really, really, really well, and I thought, to be honest, we were magnificent again in the second half. Jose Sarr again. What a class keeper he's turning out to be. The defence, well, the whole team defended really well. And I thought when he took Neves off and he brought Trincao, and then obviously Adama, he brought Wang on because Adama was probably cream crackered. I thought the last 10 minutes he thought, we're just going to have a go here.
You've sort of got nothing to lose then, have you, really?
No, well, if we'd have opened up a bit earlier, you could be on the end of a 3-4, 5-0 hiding, weren't we? And I thought that we were looking the most likely to score in the last 5 minutes.
Yeah, I think Ayat Nuri again was superb. Again, that left for me, and you can see, you see what he can do. When he gets at people, He's got the pace, the trickery. You know, he can beat men. He can deliver that ball in. Which, you know, that link-up play with Daniel Fidesz was class. But yeah, I don't know. It's just one of them. You just got to go again.
Another question for you. Katie Merrick's, we've only really got Silva who can step in for Raoul against Brighton, although that's not actually true, is it? Because Wang can play in that position. But obviously, Raoul's going to be out for the Brighton game now. Yeah. What are your thoughts on who's going to step in for Raoul? Would you go with Silva or would you go with Wang?
Personally, I think as much as I'd like to see Silva given a go, I think it will be Wang. I think it will be Fidesz, Wang, and Adama. But maybe, you know, depending on how Wang does, maybe we'll see Silva come off the bench for a bit. Although, I don't know if you saw when we were leaving at the end, there was a very much look-alike of him giving away.
Oh, I saw him. They were singing his name on the top tier.
Yeah.
He was a proper lookalike. If he ever gets really famous, he'd probably make a bit of money out of that, being a lookalike, I tell you. Stu Castle says if Silva doesn't start on Wednesday, I think it's a big sign he doesn't trust him.
To be fair, I don't think he does anyway. I think if he did, then we'd have seen a bit more of him coming off the bench. I mean, Jimenez hasn't been the player that we knew before, and yeah, I think not so much the entire bench, but it's really like the same subs all the time, isn't it? Really, that you see coming on, and you know, give him a go. But if not, I think he's just going to go out on loan. And if we can bring somebody in, which is that likely,
I'd love to see us go out and get Origi. I would.
Yeah, I don't think he'd leave. He's so loved at Liverpool. As much as I'd like to see him in a Wolves shirt, you know, he's been linked for a while, but I can't see us having a particularly interesting January. I think it's just going to be a case of Hwang on a permanent if they can get the deal done, and then recalls for Gibbs, White, and Sanderson. I don't really feel much else, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I think he's definitely dropped a few hints, hasn't he, Bruno, that we need to be doing reinforcement. Yeah. January is always a very difficult time to get the right players in, though, isn't it? Again, we look at it. The defence have been so good, and it's been, you know, brilliant. The back three, but we are going to be losing Bolly, Saiss, and Cody's basically playing through an ankle injury. It does worry you a bit, doesn't it? That you know, if we lose that amount of players out the back three. And if Cody does struggle with that injury that he's carrying, we're really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even like a formation change would sort of do us a favour, because if we lose defenders and we switch to a back four, which way you want to play that, then you lose out, and you need, you know, the midfield as well. I know he's full of praise for Luke Cundle, but he's going to give him a go. Past him, we haven't got much. Chem Campbell's probably going to go out on loan.
Well, I mean, with the three midfielders that were on today, we only had Luke Cundle really on the bench. That was an out-and-out midfielder, didn't we?
Yeah, and I don't think he was ever going to come on, to be honest.
Adrian Richards says 2 issues that I see are holding us back. No aggressive attacking midfielder, no forward mature attack. Mr. Silva bring in that attacking midfielder. Silva would work. Love Rock Animations, that's a great name. Pedence needs one in the side we need to create, and he's the man. And Carl said, bring Bolly into the game on Wednesday.
No, I wouldn't change the back three, to be honest.
No.
I'll keep it, you know, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And it's not the defence that's the problem. It is up front. But for me, you know, Adama's Adama, but overall game, Pedence is the best winger we've got until Pedro Neto comes back. And then for me, my favourite 2 wingers would be Pedence and Neto.
Yeah, I think Neto, and I do love Pedence, because for me, Pedence gives us something different. He's very good at getting in the hole, just in front of the defence. He finds space. He's got a very low centre of gravity. He'll create something out of nothing. He's good at it's good when it comes to assists and looking up and getting the right delivery. And Neto, obviously, we can't wait for him, but we can't expect too much from Pedro Neto, because it's going to take him a while to get up to full match sharpness. Robbie, to finish off on, what's your performance rating today? Is it your debut on the show? And who's your man of the match?
Performance rating overall, I'd probably give it an 8 out of 10. I don't think we played all that badly, and we did contain Man City. Just wish we could have done something with 11 men. Yes, it is my debut on the show. And my man of the match, it's a tough one again. You're looking at Murray, Starr, Kilman, Neves. It's always the same 4 names. But I think if I was to put my neck on the line, Jose Starr, I think.
Jose Starr. So that's your vote. Let's see what the others think. Robbie, thanks for jumping in. I know you've only just got home, but great to have you make your debut.
No problem. Cheers, Dave. Thank you.
All right. Take care, bud.
See you, mate. Take care. See you soon.
Cheers, mate. So that's Robbie making his debut. Do you agree with his points, his thoughts, his man of the match, his performance rating? We'll continue to debate this. But next up, we've got Jack. Hey, Jack.
Hi, guys. Hi, everyone. You all right?
Mate, great. I think I saw you, didn't I, in the concourse area just before the game.
Where were you today? What's that, sorry?
Where were you situated in the stadium?
About 6 rows from the front, right next to the home fans. Literally to the left of me was the sort of the blue sort of separator between the home and away fans. So
right. So you because we were on row E, A, B, C, D, E. So we were on the 5th row back. So we must have been fairly close.
Must have been, yeah, not far away. I don't think. Yeah.
Yeah, they would give it. There was a lot of they got those lot at the front were on the City side. I think took things a little bit too far, didn't they?
Do you know? I think it was. They expected us to come and roll over and let them tickle our bellies. They'd win 3-0, 4-0, whatever, like they normally do. And when they realised that that's not what we're going to do, it kind of got a little bit tetchy, didn't it?
Yeah,
I think
at
the start it was quite light-hearted, empty seats and this, that and the other. But towards sort of, especially once the second half started, it got quite nasty, didn't it? But yeah, I mean, the guy who was sat next to me,
where they were throwing things.
Yeah, my friend Mark got hit by a coin. So
yeah, we got hit by a lighter. Yeah, that was thrown, and we were just like standing around. It bounced off my head. Yeah, I mean, banter's one thing. Yeah, but throwing stuff is just, it's not on.
No excuses there. None at all. But,
absolutely. A lot of people saying hi to you in the chat.
Yeah.
Again, Stuart Tompkins says Pedence needs to start for us. He offers so much flair to the team. Would you agree with that?
I would, because I think actually when he came on for that last 10 minutes, whatever, we actually looked a threat. We got in behind them. We got further up the pitch. I think the thing with Pedence, defenders don't know how to mark him.
Do they not know how to mark him, or because he's small?
I don't think they do. Because he's got such a low centre of gravity, and he's deceptively quick, and he's got a really nice sort of turn of pace. I mean, when he came on against Villa earlier on in the season, he absolutely bamboozled Mings. Because Mings had been up against, I think it was Traore and Hwang, wasn't it? And he was getting touch tight all the time and pushing them. Once Pedence came on, you can't get near him. And so suddenly he's an out ball, isn't he? And you can get a bit further up the pitch. So yeah, I think Pedence, particularly, maybe not so much when we're playing the cities away and things like that, but certainly when we're playing Brighton away, for example, no disrespect to them, we're going to need someone like that who can get us up the pitch and get us in with possession in dangerous areas.
You know what, Jack? I felt, because I know he was out with COVID, I felt if we'd have had Pedence against the Burnley game, I think we'd have won that game.
Possibly, yeah. I mean, I think we should probably have won the Burnley game anyway, even with the players we had on the pitch. Yeah. But I take your point, absolutely. I think someone like that against a team that is set up just to sort of sit in and be very rigid and sort of quite sort of blocked in what they're doing. Someone like Pedence who can find little pockets and find little sort of half turns and half yards of space is absolutely vital. I mean, you look at what Jota used to do for us. He used to do that all the time, didn't he? Against the Norwiches, the Cardiffs, those sort of teams. They would sit sort of quite deep and he'd get the ball half turn or he'd play a little 1-2 edge of the box and that space would open up. And I think Pedence is probably the closest thing we've got to that in the squad at the minute.
I think you're absolutely right, mate. I mean, I thought, Pedence, I think he's been a bit careful with him coming back from COVID which is why he's not starting. I think I can see him starting on Wednesday. We will get into the major incidents of the game, but obviously Raul's out. Who would be your starting? What would be your starting team? Obviously, let's forget the defense because we know that it's going to be the same. But what would you make any changes? Who would you be starting up front?
I mean, I'd be tempted to bring back the 3-4-3 and take a midfielder out and put another forward in, just because I think we're going to have a little bit more possession against Brighton. We're not going to have to have such a low block and defend so deep. We're going to be able to get out and play a bit more football. I think Brighton are kind of the team that they like you to play as well, don't they? They're not sort of going to try and stop you. I think Podence probably needs a start. I think he's one of those players. I think 10 minutes here and there is great, and he looked really good today, but he needs a big sort of chunk of time to really get his teeth into a game. In terms of replacing Raul, I think Hwang is probably the obvious choice, isn't he? I know people are sort of talking about Fabio, and I get that. I do get that. But I think Hwang is probably the next sort of cab off the rank, if you like, isn't he, in terms of being that sort of number 9 centre forward. I know he's been playing left wing when he's been started, but I would potentially go Traore, Hwang and Podence as a 3 and just see what they can do.
What would your midfield be?
Probably Neves and Dendoncker. I think Dendoncker, the set pieces, the height at set pieces, probably over the team now.
Stu Kelsall agrees with you here. I think Neves alongside either Donk. I think who can sit in the pocket space of higher at the pitch. I think it will be obviously a much different game, although we know Brighton do like to play, but I think teams that like to play against us suits us. So it might be a game. But again, you look at at Brighton, they've had a full weekend off rest. And when we played Burnley, they had exactly the same thing. The fixture things just don't seem to be working out for us at the moment, do they?
It's one of them, isn't it? I mean, you could look at it both ways. You could say Brighton have had a nice rest, or you could say, well, they've been out of practice. They've not played for 10 days, 14 days.
Whatever. I love the way you spin things around, Jack. I like your thoughts.
That's what Brighton fans will be saying, won't it? They'll be saying, well, hang on a minute, we haven't played for 10 days or whatever it is. We might not be quite sharp as you guys who've just played City at the weekend. So I think we've got to be careful of sort of putting things in place already, haven't we? Say now, but they've had all this rest and we've not played. Let's play the game.
I agree with that, because that's a very good point that you make. Obviously, this time of year, it's all about recovery as well. Let's get stuck into the major incidents of the game from your point of view, Jack. Let's start with the Raul red card, the yellow red card. I don't know if you've seen it back, but what were your initial thoughts as it happened, and have you seen it back since?
Yeah, I mean, at the time, it was kind of, you were just sort of like, what's going on here?
I knew he was going when he did the block. You could say, couldn't you?
Yeah, and I think Robbie made a good point when he just came on. I think the referee could easily have just said, just calm down, just go 10 yards away, just get your breath and calm down. But you give the referee a decision to make. And we've talked a lot on your show and people having about the standard of refereeing. And when you give them a decision to make, you're in trouble. You're in serious trouble, because you just don't know what they're going to do. I mean, once he books him, I think Raul just has to walk away. He's just got to walk away. You can understand the frustration. I totally get it, because I don't think it's a yellow card. But once he's put himself in that position where you've just been booked, your aggression level, your temperature's up, just walk away. He's an experienced player, and I think he'll feel like he's let his teammates down.
I think he was distraught as he walked off.
He was. He was
distraught. He knew, and he reacted. I think probably a little bit petulant, really. So Raul-like, but I think he felt such an injustice.
Yeah.
About the free kick, he was like making a point. This isn't a free kick, and then, like you say, the ref could have just said, "Look, just walk away, otherwise you're going to go." Apparently, he did get one warning. I don't know. We'd have to watch it back.
Again, like I say, you don't know what was said to him. You don't know. I mean, it looked like he was having a bit of needle with Laporte all first half, really. They were sort of barging each other all through the game. I think what happened potentially, again, talking about John Moss, was he just booked the 2 City players, hadn't he, for hacking down Traore, and Guardiola was flapping his arms on the touchline, going absolutely ballistic about it. And whether he felt like he needed to even it up a little bit and book a Wolves player the next time they did a foul, and it was just unfortunate it was Raul. I mean, I heard Bruno after the game talking, and he said it's never a yellow card. And personally, I don't think it is a yellow card. But I think
the
foul,
initial card,
the first yellow card, I don't think it's a foul, but it's not a booking. I don't think it's a booking at all. But once he's given it, for whatever reason, whether he feels like he's got to show he's not biased or he's got to just, whatever it was, just walk away. Just, we've been there so many times with referees, haven't we? They've given a ridiculous decision against us. You just got to walk away and just go, okay, let's just carry on playing. But Raul, obviously, he plays on the edge anyway, doesn't he? That's part of the reason why we like Raul. He does a lot of that stuff, doesn't he? He sort of, when we lose in the goalkeeper's time wasting, he'll always go and get the ball on him to put it down for them, things like that. He plays on the edge, Raul. He there's another one where the goalkeeper's taking his time and he'll stand there counting with his fingers, won't he? To show the ref how long he's taking. He does a lot of stuff like that, Raul, and that's part of the reason why we like him. But today it's not worked and it's gone wrong, hasn't it?
Absolutely. And the penalty. I can see you shaking your head.
Do you know what? I think the issue is VAR. From where we were, it was obviously at the other end of the pitch. I can understand why the referee thinks it's handball, but it's not handball. So VAR should have the replay I've seen. It took me one look, full speed, to go. That's not handball. That's his rib cage and rolled up onto his armpit. That's not handball. For him to spend 2.5 minutes looking at replays, and to still say, that's handball. That's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Well, I was obviously vlogging it, and as I was vlogging it, I had the VAR thing. I was going like, we never get a VAR decision. Even we never get it. It was no real surprise. It always seems to go in favour of the so-called top clubs, top 6 clubs all the time. And VAR has a job to do, and they've not even asked the referee to go and have a look at it or anything. They've just gone with it. And Moutinho was going ballistic, wasn't he? Moutinho.
You can tell from the player reaction a lot of the time, can't you? Whether a decision is good or bad. Sometimes a player, the Watford one last night, wasn't it? The penalty against Brentford. As soon as he did it, the defender had his head in his hands. It's a penalty, isn't it? He's cost his team here. Moutinho was straight onto the ref, wasn't he? That's ridiculous. He's pointing to his armpit and doing all that kind of stuff. VAR is there for those kind of decisions. That's exactly the kind of decision that VAR is for. When the referee's, from his angle or from where he was on the pitch, thinks something's happened, but you look at the replay and it hasn't. VAR can have a quick look at it. Hang on a minute, mate. That's not what you've seen that, but it's not what happened. Change your decision. Get on with the game. And I just don't seem to do it. This is the 3rd year, is it, VAR? And it's no better than when it first came in and we had all that controversy.
Why is it you think we don't get the decisions ever? Is it because, there's a lot of people are saying it's corrupt. I've had messages on Instagram and stuff like that. I've had comments on Instagram on my post saying it's corrupt. I don't think we can say it's corrupt, but there does seem to be a bias. I don't. Maybe it's just us. But
I'll put it this way: I accept that referees make mistakes because everybody makes mistakes. It's human nature to get things wrong. And the referee today on the pitch made a mistake. He wasn't cheating. He just made a mistake. He thought it was handball and he gave a penalty and it wasn't handball. I accept that. And if without VAR, you count your bad luck, don't you? Oh, it wasn't a penalty, but we move on. For VAR to have a look at it on the video screen and to back the referee up, I think that's the thing I have issue with. Because I think the referee, the VAR, is he looking at it objectively and saying, can I make the right decision for the game, or can I support my friend on the pitch? Because I think it's the latter. I think that's what he's doing, and I think that's what they do all the time. You watch so many decisions, they try and back up the ref as much as they can. The guys in the studio do it. Peter Walton does it all the time on BT Sport. Well, I think the referee was right to make this decision. Well, I can see why he's done it. That's not what it's about. We want the referee to get the right decision, absolutely. But when he gets it wrong, we want VAR to help him put it right. And they 100%. Don't do that. They don't do that.
I know. And Katie Merrick says, be interesting to see what they say on Match of the Day tonight. Surely they're going to look at that. And also, Sean Fogarty here, who's a Man City fan, basically saying John Moss is one of the worst referees in the Premier League. And this is from a City fan.
Well, that says it all, doesn't it? What also is interesting is, in my opinion, the best referee we've had this season was the guy against Burnley. Who had his
championship guy.
First ever Premier League game, and he's the best one we've had. The guys,
you know what? We said that as well on the night. He reffed it so well.
The John Mosses, the Mike Deans, the Michael Olivers, they're all rubbish. They've got too cozy. They're too confident. You know, there's no accountability. I would love for BT Sport, Sky Sports, BBC, whoever, to interview the referee after the game and say, explain what you saw. Because even if you still disagree after it, you can accept his point of view. But at the minute, we don't know what's gone on.
You want about having referees on after to be interviewed?
Yeah, and just not in a like hanging them out to dry, just to hear what they thought. Because when you watch rugby, you can hear the referee talking all game and saying, "Well, I think I've seen this. Can you have a look on the screen and back me up, or can you help me make this decision?" We don't know as fans what's going on, what the referee's seeing, why he's given this, what his thought process is. I would love to hear John Moss today saying, I've given a penalty because I think it's hit his arm. Okay. And then we can then take it from there and go, well, actually, VAR should be backing you up, or VAR should be helping you change your mind. We don't know what's happening.
It's funny, and I'll come on to that point. Adrian Richards says, Jack, top point about refs backing refs. It's funny, I had a conversation earlier on today about exactly that point. I was asked, do you think refs should do interviews after the game? And I thought it would be nice, but then I thought no, because it kind of makes a celebrity out of the ref and it shouldn't be about. They should almost be invisible. And we talk about
celebrities already now, aren't they?
Well, I suppose so.
How many times have you kind of gone, who's the ref today? Mike Dean. Oh no. Michael Oliver. Oh no.
Especially we get Mike Dean.
It's because they're personalities now, aren't they? And they're characters within the game. It shouldn't be like that. Absolutely, I know what you mean, but it's already at that point now anyway, because the Premier League is so sort of worldwide and global and well watched and well supported. You know who the refs are. You know what kind of performance you're going to get. I mean, John Moss, he never leaves the centre circle. You look at the penalty decision today. He's 35 yards from play. You know, the linesman's looking straight at it and doesn't give anything, and that's telling, isn't it?
100%. Carl Whitehouse said refs' mics are used in the A-League in Australia. Katie Merrick said it's a good idea, Jack. Jack, to finish up on, give us some positives. Give us your match performance rating and your man of the match.
I think there are lots of positives. I know we always, when we lose, we always sort of focus on the things that have gone wrong, because that's nature of football fans, isn't it? But we've played Liverpool and Manchester City in the last 2 weeks, teams that probably cost billions of pounds to put together, two of the best coaches that the Premier League's ever had, Klopp and Guardiola, and they've both had to really scrap to get the points off us, haven't they?
Yeah.
And again today, I'll say exactly what I said last week. Did we deserve a point? Probably not, because Man City had so much of the play and all the best chances, really, didn't they? But had we earned a point, I think we probably did, with how well we defended and how well we sort of stuck to the game plan. Again, you got to give credit to Bruno. You know, we're never going to go to Man City and go toe-to-toe and we'll attack, then you attack, then we'll have another go. It was always going to be, can we just block? Can we frustrate? Can we stop them? And we did for the majority of the game. I didn't feel, apart from the penalty, that they really carved us open at all. And it wasn't a case of you thought, oh, the goal's inevitable. You knew it was going to be difficult with 10 men. You know that. It's always going to be difficult. If you were going to pick a team not to go to 10 men against, it's Manchester City.
Plus,
it's Manchester City, because they moved the ball so quickly. And you know, people like Cancelo was fantastic today. Yeah. And I know their sponsors gave Sterling the man of the match, but Cancelo was a different level for me in terms of their players today.
Yeah.
But, you know, we've competed. I know we've not had a lot of shots and we've not attacked very much, but we've competed. We've scrapped it out. We've made ourselves difficult to beat, and they've had to earn that victory. And that's a positive for me. And again, the goals, you know, we've conceded 2 goals in 2 games against like those top teams. Teams get beat 6-7 against these guys regularly, you know, and because they open up or they haven't got the defensive quality that we've got. And so I think it's positive. It'll be different against Brighton, obviously, and then we've obviously got Chelsea next weekend. It'll probably be quite similar. We'll probably be quite low and frustrating and trying to pick something off on the break if we can. But I've got no issues with how we've played today. I know Man City fans were quite, do they even know how to play football? I saw someone say. But, you know, we're not going to go there and let them, you know, roll.
To be fair, Jack, we did play some football in spells. You know, we kept possession of the ball in the first half quite well at times, and we're building attacks. And trying to play out and stuff like that. Obviously, when you go into the second half and you've got 10 men, you've got no outlet. So what's your performance rating and man of the match?
I'm probably going to go 8 out of 10. Because I think, defensively, it was probably a 10, wasn't it? And then going forward, a 6 maybe, because we didn't do a great deal, if we're being really honest, are we?
Yeah.
Man of the match, I've got to go Kilman again. I think he's just, when you consider at the start of the season, he probably wasn't going to be in most people's starting 11, was he? We weren't sure.
Isn't he?
Yeah, we weren't even sure what was going to happen. There was talks about him going out on loan or maybe even being sold. He's the first name on the team sheet now. And he's someone you can really build that defence around. I know Cody's kind of penciled in as the captain, the leader in the middle. But Kilman's the first name on the team sheet for me. He's absolutely top draw. And
he's got a 5-year contract as well. Jack, absolutely. But are you down at Brighton?
I'm not at Brighton. That's the first one I'm going to miss this season. But I shall follow it. And then obviously back for Chelsea. So
yeah, the Chelsea game. Absolutely. But hopefully we can. Well, I probably won't be doing an extra time for Brighton anyway. So we'll get you. Hopefully you become on next week after the Chelsea match.
No problem.
Mate, as always, some fantastic points that you make. Thank you very much for coming on.
See you later, guys. Cheers.
See you later. So, brilliant point again from Jack. He always talks so well. So we do have, this is the order of things coming along. We're going to have Adam from Los Angeles next, who's mates with Michael Bublé. We're going to then have a real treat. And I know a lot of you will probably fall off the chair. Because we've got Wilf and Amy. Amy's making a cameo appearance with Wilf for 10 minutes. Then we've got Matt and Scott. You're the bookend again tonight, mate. Is that right? He just sits there chilling. So we're going to bring on all the way from LA. Adam, hello, mate.
What's going on, guys? How are you,
mate? It seems like deja vu in so many ways, but no goals, another 1-0 defeat, but doesn't really tell the whole story, does it?
No, tough one to wake up at 4:34 as well out here. It was an early one for us, but I mean, it was just, it's almost not even worth talking about the Raul thing because it was such a light card. I've watched it. I kind of saved it on my phone, that yellow card, that first yellow card, and was kind of scrolling back and forth. And I'm not seeing a card there. And then he was just stupid. He just did a stupid thing. He just lost his mind for a second. And it's almost hard to blame him in there. It's just like, it was stupid. And he knew immediately that it was stupid, it's almost not worth even talking about. You know what I mean? So yeah, it was a frustrating one. I will say, like, I felt, because remember they played with 10 guys for half the game. I felt they played better than they did against Liverpool. I felt like the Liverpool game, they were just hanging on. That's what that felt like. And I didn't feel like that today. It didn't feel, even with 10 men, it didn't feel like they were just hanging on. Like, they had real chances there at the end to tie the game. I think I like Adama out there. We haven't talked much about him today.
No, we haven't, have we? Let's talk about Adama.
While maybe he's struggling to finish, he's distracting the other team so much. When he gets that ball, 4 guys just rush to him, and all they can do is foul him. And I just feel like it's a distraction enough that if the ball gets out to someone else, it could be a game changer. So I really like having Adama out there right now. Even he doesn't have the assists or the goals, but I think what he's kind of creating and forcing the other teams to do, like, is really understated. And if we could just finish one, oh my God.
It's going to happen sooner or later. It must do. Maybe on Wednesday it'll happen.
Yeah.
We've got to score a goal soon, surely.
Oh my God, I know. And it's rough not having Raul out there Wednesday, but I saw someone in the chat had mentioned too, like, maybe Raul's sitting for a game, and this whole incident might be the thing he needs to kind of
reset,
get him back, reset. And also, maybe it makes Huang or Podence or whoever kind of step up and say, all right, Raul's out. I'm going to step up. I'm going to be the guy today. So you never know. Sometimes these weird things can trigger something good. But
yeah, I think that's a very good point that you actually make there. I mean, Raul is flogged to death because he's like a little like Kilman and, Cody and all the back three. He's always going to be a starter. He gives his all. He's only missing one game because it's a double yellow. It's not like a straight red or anything. So he'll have a bit of downtime. Of course, he'll travel with the squad. And it gives Bruno an opportunity to look at some other options, perhaps. Yep. And out of that, maybe something good will come. So It's a good point.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it'll probably be Huang. Part of me would like to see Silva just because we haven't, but I just feel like at this point we really are desperate. We need to score some goals. We need to get a proven goal scorer out there. And that's probably going to be Huang, I think.
Absolutely. So did you actually wake up at 4:30 a.m. to get it? What did you watch it on Fox or something like that? Is it that you?
It was on actually USA, the network USA here. So it was nationally televised here actually. So.
And what did the commentators over there have to say about the major incidents, the sending off, the penalty, and what were your thoughts? You've had a chance to probably watch it back properly on the TV.
Yeah. I mean, the commentators were in agreement with everything. I think they thought it was a pretty light yellow, that first one on Raul. And then everyone has been saying like that wasn't a handball. Like what are we doing here? They played it back a million times, and it's clear as day. It bounces up here and goes there, and it doesn't make any sense. That was really frustrating. And the commentators throughout the whole game and after the game, even here, were saying that what was that? So I think everyone's kind of feels the same way here.
Stu Kels has got a question for you. Can you get Lincoln Park to buy a Wolf shirt? So if you don't know, Adam knows some cool people like you've because you're in the music industry. You've been on tour with Lincoln Park, haven't you?
Yeah. It's funny. I don't think any of the guys are Wolves supporters, but their bass player is a massive soccer fan, Phoenix, and I'll talk to him about soccer every now and then, but what about, no Wolf supporters yet, but maybe.
What about Bublé? Who does he support?
His wife is Argentinian, so I don't remember the team. I was talking to him one time, and his kid was running around wearing a soccer shirt from an Argentinian club, and I said, "What are you?" And I don't even remember what it was. It was like a year or so ago, but
I'll tell you what would be really cool, Adam, because if we could get Michael Bublé alongside you with a Wolves top on one time, that would be a bit of a coup, wouldn't it?
Someday, maybe I'll get him on here. I don't know that he watches Premier League, but
you'd have to tell him. I've sang to him. I haven't met him yet.
There you go.
One of his big hits, man.
That's right. That's
absolutely. Right. And the other thing I want to see. I mean, what would you start Wang over Silva on Wednesday?
Yeah, again, kind of like I said, only because I feel like we need to score some goals, and I'm not super confident in Silva doing it. Huang, at least we've seen what he is capable of. I feel like you got to get Huang out there with Podence and Adama. And I think maybe that could be a secret formula to make something happen here.
Absolutely. And so what would you give your performance rating today overall?
I'm going to give it an 8.5 because they had 10 guys against one of the best clubs on the planet.
Yeah.
Just take out the Raul thing. I'm just take that out. It was so stupid. It's not Raul. That's not who he is. It was a moment of frustration. I'm just gonna remove that. And they played against the best players in the world for 45 minutes with 10 men. Like, what a performance. And my player of the match is Jose Sa, because when you're down like that against a team like that, you've got Jose Sa back there, and he always gives you a chance. Jose Sa always gives you a chance to win. So for me, having him, just the confidence of having him back there, I felt pretty good about at least trying to hold on to a draw.
I felt so as well, and it took that to get, and it's still a good performance. And you voting for Jose Sa, so that's 2 votes for Jose Sa and 1 for Kilman. So let's put Jose Sa edged up. And what time will you be watching the Brighton game? It might be a bit better time for you, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it is. Hold on, I think it's a better one. Oh, good. It's 11:30. It's 11:30 a.m. start here. So
that's much better. You can have a brekkie, kick your feet up, and be able to watch the game.
I've worked, but I work from home, and maybe I'll take a long lunch break that day.
I think you will be, Adam. Absolutely, brilliant. Mate. It's so brilliant having you on the channel because you're such an interesting guy as well, and it's just you also make some really good points, and I'm just glad that you picked Wolves, and we've got you. You've got you as part of the pack now, so that's good.
I appreciate it.
And you will be able to see. You have sent in an international fan reaction as well, haven't you?
Yeah. Yep. I sent that in.
So although there won't be an extra time show for Brighton because of the time constraints and everything, there will be an IFR for the Brighton game. So hopefully we'll get to see Adam's reaction on that as well. Mate, thanks ever so much for joining. What time is it there at the moment now?
It's 12:48 p.m.
So it's just 1 o'clock in the afternoon.
About to be 1 o'clock in the afternoon, so I got a full day ahead of me. But I've been up.
And what's the weather like there today?
Probably like 62 and sunny. It's beautiful. It's California.
Well, that's it. You can't go wrong with California. Mate, absolutely brilliant. Thanks ever so much for joining.
Absolutely. See you guys.
Cheers. There's Adam again. I'm getting some great comments. Top work, Adam. He's a really nice guy. Adam, nice to see you on the channel. Patrick says, lovely gesture. Dave, Adam is a good lad. Top lad, mate. Absolutely brilliant. And Sanders Wolves says he wants to get Bublé to have a duet with your dad. Mate, so if you watch any of my previews, my dad always sings. Adrian says he's a cool guy. Nice to have you. And it's Gary Feeney's birthday today. I was hoping to bring birthday luck, but I'm proud of our performance. Absolutely brilliant to have you as a member as well, Gary. And, make sure you check the link on the for the Discord group. I don't know if you've got on that yet, but I did post it on the comment section on YouTube for you. And I think Wolves F1 is a fairly new member as well. So you go check out that as well, mate, and get on the Discord group. If you remember, which you could, if you want to join the membership, it's the links in the description. Now, we do have a treat. Everyone make sure that you sit on your chairs because you might fall off in shock. My God, we've got double trouble, Amy and Wilf. Amy, it's so good to see you.
Oh, you too.
And you, Wilf.
Good to see you.
And you've been today, haven't you?
We have,
yeah.
Just about dried out.
Got very wet.
Well, yeah. Where were you sitting in the stand? Were you sitting lower down?
We're in the middle tier, so we were tier 2.
Tier 2. Now, Amy, do you want to tell everyone where have you been the last thing? Because you've got quite a lot going on in your life, socially and work-wise, and you've got a new boyfriend as well, haven't you?
He's not that new.
He's pretty old, actually.
Well, since lockdown.
Yeah, since lockdown, since we were allowed to leave the house again, acquired my boyfriend. So we are just doing life, really.
You've had a lot of parties to go to as well, haven't you?
Well, yeah, just parties, going out, going to the pub.
That's all right.
Enjoying life and freedom, which is great. So it's just good to have you here. It's great to have Wilf because if you remember, we've had Wilf on a few times, and he's one of the funniest guys you'll ever meet. And the banter between you and your dad is always really good. Merv says there's only one Amy and Wilf, or two Amy and Wilfs. And Adrian says, welcome back, Amy. Patrick Moran saying, welcome back, Amy and Wilf. You're looking well. So let's get stuck into it. obviously you were there today, all three of you. Is your boyfriend there?
No, he's not. He's not. He's upstairs.
I was going to say, if he wants to jump on, we can get him on as well if you wanted. What are your thoughts on the game?
I mean, it was a heroic performance, really. I think after Raul got sent off, we were just saying, "Oh,
That's it."
I said 2-0. I said if they can keep it to 2-0, they'll be doing well. So the fact it was 1-0, but then it was just obviously a bit frustrating that to lose to a worldly goal is fine, but to lose to a penalty that wasn't a penalty is it's slightly disappointing to say the least.
We just watched this back on YouTube, and I can't believe it was a penalty. When we saw it happen on live, we're a bit dubious, but we're so far away. Fair enough, you can't really judge it from that distance. But when we just seen it on the replay, from one angle, I could see why the referee gave it. But when VAR played it back, it didn't even hit him on the armpit. It was below the armpit. It's the side of his body. His arm was well raised, and it was well below his armpit. So there's no way on earth that was a penalty. So I cannot understand why it wasn't overruled, that decision. It just seems so unfair because Wolves played so well and they deserved a point. I know on the stats it doesn't look great, but if you were there, you could see just what they're up against. And to have that crowd against them, the Wolves fans are great, and to have that crowd against them, have the rain against them, down to 10 men, playing probably one of the best teams in the world, to have it taken away from them like that is, a miscarriage of justice in my view. It's just awful.
Yeah, it's just, I think as well, there's something to be said that all of so Chelsea, Man City, Liverpool today, or to say nice about, so 4 of the top teams.
What was the United score? I don't know what's happened with that.
They got a penalty as well, so they were.
You're kidding me.
So,
of course they did. Of course they did.
Which is, reason to.
I think it'll be penalty of the day tonight, not match of the day, won't it?
Yeah, so, and Wolves haven't had a penalty this season, so.
That's true.
I mean, the penalty.
No, they had one given at Palace and then it got chalked off.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, it did. It did. Do you know what, Amy? You made a really good point, because I thought what you said, if we'd have lost the game and it was a fantastic move and a brilliant finish, I need to go on, okay, fair enough, they broke us down and they got the goal. But to lose it in the way that we did with that hotly disputed penalty, I'm trying to reserve judgment because I haven't actually watched it back. But from what everyone said, like what Wilf said, and from what I've read, it was a shocking decision. But if they'd have broken us down and scored a great goal, fair enough. But they didn't, did they?
I can see why he gave it in the first instance, because where he was, Moutinho's arm was raised, but it should have been overturned by VAR, like point blank, and they took so long, and we were kind of thinking, usually when these decisions take long, it'll get overturned because that's what usually happens. So we were a bit like expecting it to just be like, no penalty and all of that. And it was a poor penalty as well from Sterling. Sterling should be taken.
It went down the middle, didn't he?
But it was a really weak shot.
We didn't hit it, did we? No, he didn't blast it. I mean, Ronaldo, when he hits it down the middle, he blasts it, takes the net off. But that was a really poor penalty. And if Sard just managed to stand up, he would have saved it.
It was a very arrogant penalty. So
I know,
but yeah,
what can you say? I mean, it's just so disappointing because we've had 2 points the last 2 games. We've had nothing, and I think both performances deserved a point at least for each one, just because of the way they played and defended so magnificently. Really, it was just limited them to pretty well. Grealish had a chance, didn't he, in the second half? But in the first half, I can't remember Man City having a real.
I felt really. Did you like me? I felt really calm and not stressed at all in the first half. I just felt we were not. I felt really chilled out, and then the penalty. Obviously, the booking and the sending off. Then you're thinking, oh, God, 10 men for 45 minutes. But I thought they were absolutely fantastic. I think Jack said it. Yeah, okay, they had 71 possession. They had 22 shots to our 2. We did play half the game with 10 men. So the stats say they deserved it. But I think we earned it. And that's what Jack said. I think we earned a result in both Liverpool game and the Man City game. And we've come out on the wrong side of so many 1-0s this year, haven't we?
Yeah, they've been quite unlucky. But there needs to be some kind of sorting with the attack, because the goal issue is they scored 12 goals this season, and a quarter of those were against Aston Villa. So
That's actually in 10 minutes.
So yeah. So
yeah,
when you see it like that, Ronaldo scored more goals for Man United than Wolves have.
I think we've only scored. There's only Norwich that have scored less goals.
Yeah, but it shows how solid the defence is, and that Sarr is an upgrade on Patricio, in my humble opinion. So
do you know what? I think you're right. I was a bit, obviously, with Rui going, but Sarr, his distribution, his shot stopping, the way he commands his area, the way he organises the defence. Is it any wonder that we've got such a tight defence with the way he is? He just looks solid. He looks world class to me, Sarr.
He is. I think he is. I think he definitely is. So it is obviously a lot of positives, but it was obviously frustrating to be down to 10 men because we were just like, oh god, well there's no chance now.
Half time, we were quite relaxed. We thought there's no way we can get anything from this game, so we were relaxed the second half in many ways. But as it went on, you thought, oh, there's a chance I might do something here. And even at the end, when we did put a bit of pressure on them towards the end, the last 5 minutes,
we did.
and I thought we might just get something here. And Kilman had that one chance, and the header was tipped over. And there's another one which Sace had, I think, towards the very end when that corner came over, and we could have nicked supports at the end despite everything. But anyway, it's.
I think if we had, it would have been a bit of justice if we had done.
It would, but it's football, isn't it? So you never know what's going to happen. Anyway, Brighton next, so that's going to be fun.
But the more concern of the Raul thing wasn't, obviously you don't want him to get sent off, but the fact he's missing Brighton, which is...
Well, who would you start? What changes would both of you would make for the Brighton game? Obviously, we know Raul's out. Would you change anything elsewhere in the team? What formation would you go? Who would you play up top?
It's a good question, isn't it, really?
It's a good question, yeah.
I mean, you probably start Wang, to be fair, but then Fabio's meant to be the replacement out-and-out striker, so do you give Fab to go? I don't know.
I think if they don't play Fabio, there's a message there, isn't there? Because it costs an awful lot of money. We'll never get that money back now because he's just not been there to do anything, has he?
I'd like to see Fabio given a shot. He'll be fresh, he'll be hungry, he'll have a point to prove. He might be, give him a proper game. But will he? That's the question.
Well, I hope he does. I think he's got to be given a chance, hasn't he? And now he's got the opportunity. Obviously, on Rails there, he's going to be second fiddle. But now he's got the chance. He's got to get in there and have a go and play him for the first half and see how he gets on, I think. And then keep pretty much the same formation and then just see how we go.
Yeah.
Because Brighton's going to be tough. It's going to be a very close game, I think. It'll be probably one goal in it. 2-1 or 1, that kind of score.
Not another 0-1. We've got to score sooner or later. When was the last goal?
1-0 to Wolves, I think.
Last goal was against West
Ham. Yeah.
How long ago was that? Is it 4 games ago? That now?
Since then there's been Burnley, hasn't there? Then there was Norwich away. Then the 2 recent games. That's 4 games.
So that's like about 300, nearly 400 minutes without a goal.
Yep, it is.
Right, it's a barren run, isn't it?
Yeah. And on the note of Brighton, we have some spare tickets. So if anyone out there is looking for a Brighton ticket, then drop me a message on Instagram. It's Amy Hads on Instagram.
Yeah. Or drop Amy a message if you can find her. If you've got me on Instagram, drop me a message and I'll forward it on to Amy. But Amy Hads, did you say?
Yeah. On Instagram. So if anyone is after Brighton tickets,
how many tickets have you got?
2 at the moment.
There you go. So if you fancy Brighton away on Wednesday night, there's 2 tickets going. So we need to get on to the. This is always going to be. This is going to fascinate me. This is when you two come on to your performance rating and your man of the match, whether you agree or disagree. But let's do the performance rating first. And for the performance rating, we'll go with Amy first, out of 10.
It's quite difficult, really, isn't it? Because I don't think a complete performance includes the result, which they obviously lost. So, but I think with work and all of it, you've got to give them, I don't know.
I know, but you know what you think, don't you?
Like, I don't know, 6.
You're giving it a 6, okay.
Well, if you think of performance, when you think of it actually like performance.
8.5.
Okay, well that's 40.
8.5 because
I gave it an 8.5 as well.
Did you? All right. 'Cause I think the heroics and just for the performance and the sheer willpower and determination and fighting for the team, and they all fought together as a complete team performance. I thought. Bearing in mind who they were playing, if it was against, no disrespect, Norwich or something like that, then I think it would be different. But because it's Man City, they played to a certain way and executed it almost to perfection. And it was as I said earlier, it was daylight robbery of the penalty, and they'd have got a point if it hadn't been for that. So I think for all those reasons, 8.5 has got to be a good.
Maybe
I
6
think
is a bit low. Really.
I think 6 is a bit cruel, really. I would say.
Amy's like the Craig Revel Horwood. It takes a lot to get a high score.
So you can't.
She's tough. She is. I'll tell you.
She's a hard
She was
cookie.
me like this.
So what are you, Wilf?
We know we've got the same man of match because we always.
Yeah, we've got the
have
same.
to give
Who
it.
do you think the man? We've both said the same person. Who do you?
Well,
think the man
if I go Amy, it'll be Kilman.
No, it's not today.
If you love Kilman.
We both said Connor.
Connor Cody, goal line clearance as well today.
So I think he obviously the way that he leads the team showed a lot today because
He was
to
there today.
keep the team together after the Raoul incident and all of that was just very, very professional. So
I think it was a good thing it happened when it did that sending off because I was annoyed and I just felt I could have lost it on the pitch quite easily. But I think it did help having the half-time break.
Yeah.
But you could see him rallying them and talking to them and really getting them together. And I think he was masterful today, for that reason. So that's why both of us thought he was.
Yeah, we both said.
Worth
But
getting,
to be fair, you could have given it to.
I think
anyone really.
personally, I'll give it to the team myself because I think it was such a good performance overall. He couldn't fault anybody.
Benjamin the hamster says, "What a clearance from Connor."
No, it wasn't. It's two in a week as well. He had the Liverpool one as well.
I know, exactly.
But,
no, he did so well because we thought that's it, but he suddenly popped up from nowhere and headed off the line. So, for all those reasons, besides the team, if it's an individual, I think for me anyway, it's got to be him. In saying that, I think Alt-Nouri was pretty sensational again as well.
He's turning into a player, isn't he, Alt-Nouri?
Yeah,
really
he was good today. He really was.
He's
good
only
today.
19 as well.
Yeah, he did well. I know it was Sace, wasn't it, as well? They both got under Sterling's skin big time. Yeah, especially in the first half with Sace. I mean, Sterling was really losing it.
There were time wasted from the get-go,
but
these
things happen.
The ref has to control the game at the end of the game. The ref
that.
Didn't control the game,
He lost it, didn't he, the ref? I think he lost control. But it's quite interesting because now that basically puts us on to 2 votes for Jose Sarr, a vote for Kilman. I really thought you might go for Kilman, and now 2 votes for Connor Cody. So it's in the balance. We've got 2
Kilman's had my vote quite a lot lately, so you've got to share the love.
Yeah, Kilman.
You've got to share the love, absolutely.
Yeah, Kilman did well, but he did make one almost fatal mistake in the first half when he passed it straight to the Man City player in the penalty box, and we got away with that one. But that was a very exceptional error for him. I mean, I can't remember any other time he's done that, but he did do it today, just under pressure. But he got away with it. But I'm not saying that's the reason I didn't vote for him as man of the match. It's just I think Cody was that much, just because of his leadership, really, and everything he did today. I think it was him. So
he has been immense, and it's going to be a big test as well coming up. Obviously Brighton and Chelsea again next week because they've got talented players. It's going to be a big test. I think we need to get something out of Brighton, don't you?
And they've got to get something out of Brighton.
Yeah, we need a point at least. I mean, hopefully 3, but we do need points, I think, really. But anyway.
They've got to score a goal.
Merbetic wants to know who keeps ripping the sellotape.
Mum was wrapping up Christmas presents.
Brilliant.
I say Christmas presents, chocolate bars for like a run thing. So
it's a chocolate bars it is.
She's just wrapping up chocolate bars.
They are. Whispers. That's whispers.
Well, I'm going to eat one in a minute.
That's quality. And what game are you at next?
Dad's going to Brighton, but I'm not. Stop it.
I'm going to Brighton.
Dad's going to Brighton.
Yeah.
So does that mean the tickets are by Wilf?
Yes, it does.
Oh my God!
Oh,
what more incentive can you have than 2 Brighton tickets, and you get to sit with the man, the myth, the legend, Wilf? watching the
Not just
game.
me, but my other daughter Laura's coming, so she's quite a character as well. I don't know if you know her, but
Yeah, I've met Laura. Well, the first time I met Amy, when Olaf video bombed us, I think Laura was with her, and Laura's been on a couple of times, hasn't she, as well? During lockdown.
Going, but I don't have any annual leave, and it's far too.
I've got the same problem on Wednesday.
And I'm also
it's the first game I'm gonna miss. But I'm gonna do a watch along.
Live actually with a live orchestra, which is very cultured. So I won't actually be watching the game because I'll be at the Symphony Hall. So
like I said, Amy's social life is just off the planet at the moment.
I was locked in for a year, so I've got to make up for lots.
You're making up for it.
Big time, yeah.
But I'll be at the Chelsea on Sunday.
Sunday.
So you may see Amy and Wilf making an appearance, depending on social movements, maybe popping in on Saturday evening, then potentially next week.
Well, Sunday evening.
Sunday evening. Yeah. There's a chance because we are
away.
Oh, we're together, aren't we? Then
we are away.
Yeah. So yeah, we're away.
It is Laura's birthday.
No, we're at home. We're home.
No, but we are away after the game.
But we're home for the match.
But we are home for the match. Yeah.
Sorry, I just make it clear. I didn't want anybody to get confused. They're going to Stamford Bridge by mistake.
I think you're confusing yourself, to be honest.
No, he's at home.
And that's absolutely brilliant, because I'm glad to have you on. Everyone's glad to see you. And hopefully we can get you on again real soon. We will be organising at some point a proper podcast, but I'll try and give you a bit more notice next time, okay?
Yeah, just give me as much notice as possible.
I know.
That would be good.
Slot you in could put it in onto the diary. Brilliant. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
And you.
Yeah, you too.
All the best. Cheers.
See you later, mates. Bye. How good is that to see Amy and Wilf? Brilliant. We've got Matt to come on next, and then Scott. As I say, if you wanted those Brighton tickets, get in touch with either me or Amy, and you can get to sit with Wilf. Will pass that on. And as I say, it's the one game that I will be missing. This one again for work reasons and stuff like that. But I'm looking at doing a watch along. Haven't done one of them for ages. I'm hopefully going to watch it with my dad. So if you'd like me to do a watch along, as we've not done one for ages, leave a thumbs up or a heart or something in the comments below. And please, can you like this video as well? Patrick Moran says he loves the sellotape. Gary Fenley said it's lovely seeing them both as well. But yeah, Harry says, please do it. Just let me know if I get enough people saying do it. Maybe we'll bring it back out of the archives for a special edition against Brighton, because it's, as I say, it's the one game I just can't get to for work reasons and stuff, which is unfortunate. Reach Pro said after Brighton tickets, they are available. Reach Pro, either email me on Instagram, message me on Instagram, or message Amy, or message the Always Wolves Facebook page, and I'll put you in touch. There's a lot of people saying do it. So if I get 10 to 20 people say do it, I'll do it. So next up, we're hoping the sound issues hold out on this one, because you've been struggling. Go on, Dave, let's do it. Watch along. Okay. Maybe when Katie says to do it as well. Watch along sounds good. We'll be at the cinema, watch his fight. Oh, blooming hell, Murph. Honestly, that's bad. Matt, we're going to bring on Matt. Hello, Matt.
Hello, Dave.
That's not too bad, Matt. Keep up. Let's hope we can hear you.
I'm going to be honest. I was watching part of the first half in the cafe with my granddad when I was having something to eat earlier.
Yeah.
And then I went up the Labrooks with him so I could put some more bets on. And I was watching the rest of the first half. And then I turned it off and then popped up on my phone that Raul had been sent off. And I was like, oh no, Raul, what are you doing?
I know.
And I seen it was rather strange. And John Moss today, I mean, I went to the Celtic Vigo match in early August, I think it was. And he's one of the worst refs I've ever seen. I mean, what do you expect when you got a Villa fan and VAR and a prat like John Moss losing control of the game?
Matt, can I ask you, have you ever heard of the Ghostman?
The Ghostman?
Have you ever heard of the Ghostman? guys in the chat, can you explain to Matt who the Ghostman is? We'll come back to that in the video. I'll tell you for the reason for why. Carry on. So, what is your sort of general consensus as to how you're feeling a few hours after?
I'm feeling proud of the performance defensively, and in general, the performance. There was a lot of heart there, you could see how gutted they all were at full time.
Well, they were, weren't they? When Neves came off past me, he looked completely, I won't swear, but he looked really. I think he was frustrated with some of the decisions that happened during the game. Again, we've talked about this in terms of the refereeing and stuff. I've got a question for you, Matt. Who are you starting on Wednesday night? If you're on Bruno Mars?
If the reports are true that he's lost faith in Fabio Silva, then probably Hwang.
I don't think there's people saying that he has lost faith with him. I think people are saying if he doesn't play him, then maybe he has lost faith in him. And Carl Whitehouse says, Ghost Man, when he comes on, he's always in the dark. And you're quite no light.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah, so that's why they've got the Ghost Man.
And the penalty incident, no. Whatever he saw, he quite clearly mind. And I've been seeing the Specsavers admin quite a stir on Twitter today. Quite controversial, the Specsavers admin. When the Premier League tweeted out that it was a penalty to City, the Specsavers admin tweeted out, "Oh, right."
Oh, yes. Again, the producer who follows some really cool Instagram accounts, she follows the likes of Specsavers and things, and Aldi are really good apparently on their Twitter as well. And they didn't they? Specsavers, as in maybe I should approach them to sponsor the channel.
No, I found that quite humorous because today was a frustrating day, but you can see the Liverpool game and today just how much heart and soul that the lads are putting in. One of my main points here I've got is the board have got to back him January. 3 or 4 players maybe. Yeah. And Cody as well. The bloke's so much inspiration as a leader. Jose saw as well. You got to give it to him. I'll be honest. I've given the performance an 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10 is your performance rating?
Because as you did say, Dave, or one of the other guests said, we weren't going to go there and roll over for City. And I think that's what they were expecting us to do.
And we didn't, did we? And what about your... obviously, the votes are interesting. It'd be interesting to now see your man of the match for today's performance.
My mate, Max Kilman. It's got to have it.
So you're giving it to Kilman. Oh, my God. The pressure's on Scott when he comes on because we've got 2 votes for Jose Sarr. We've got 2 votes for Cody. And now we've got 2 votes for Max Kilman, which means Scott will have the decisive vote when he comes on.
The reason I say Kilman is because he works so well with Cody. And Sois, he's got a booking in him. But Sterling was frustrated with him. Yeah. And the irony of Sterling to go mad at someone going down when he's went off the match on his backside.
That is total irony. I have to agree with you, mate.
You got the likes of Michael Oliver, Mike Dean, John Moss. They don't know how to control the game.
Carl's also saying the chat should have a chance of a vote. Well, if you wait till Scott comes on, we'll do a chat. We'll have what's the word I want to use? We'll have a pundits, because you guys that come on here are the pundits, man of the match, and then we'll have a chat man of the match, and we'll see which comes out on top. So there you go. We'll do that.
I don't want to take anything away from City, the team, but their home sport looked absolutely woeful. Thousands of empty seats, and yes, I saw that. There's thousands of empty seats before half time. And they say they've got one of the best supports in the league. I don't think so.
Do you know what? It's interesting. I mean, I don't know if you've watched my instant reaction yet. You probably have, Matt. You probably
No,
watched the
I
video.
was going to get to it, actually.
Yeah. And you'll probably see on the match vlog as well. The best away support I've been to this year, I would give it to Leeds so far. I thought their supporters were unbelievable. The way the atmosphere they created inside Ellen Road. And today, the City fans, I thought it's a fantastic stadium, and I don't want to be disrespectful to the City fans, but I thought their support was woeful. They were quiet. They only like kind of cheered occasionally. There was a small slither that gave it some, but generally speaking, I was so disappointed with the support from the City fans today. They're down there with Leicester.
Another set of fans I don't like, and I think are very, very ironic. Man United fans. Suppose a great atmosphere at Old Trafford, but can never sell out.
Oh yeah, I agree. And we've got Man United coming up very soon in the new year. On the 3rd, it's an evening kickoff.
As a club, big club.
Well, Sean Fogarty, again, I think you might have subscribed to the channel. If you have, Sean, let me know, because he's made some really good contributions today. He basically says we've better away support than home. I think that's probably a fair.
Now, I can verify because when I was working for the club a couple of years ago, I happened to be working at the City game at our place, and their fans were absolutely outstanding.
Yeah.
And I was working in the North Bank at the time, but they were absolutely outstanding there. Their away support.
Yeah, well, we'll get to see them when they come to Molineux later and say, Merv Bennett says all we could hear on the TV was the Wolves fans. Well, I think that says it all. Manuel Falso, even Worldwide U City. I'll compare those specially counted only fan base. Okay. Making good points, Matt. Just a question. Do you like the Lighthouse family?
The Lighthouse family.
Do you know who they are?
Yeah, like Ghostman.
No, they are actually a real thing.
The Lighthouse family.
The Lighthouse family, go and check them out. They are a pop group, a group, and they've made some great records, some brilliant records. One of my favourite groups, actually. I don't know why he's asked that, but they are real.
Here's a question for you, Dave. Yeah, Dad, what's his thoughts on the game?
I haven't spoken to him yet. Good to have you subscribe, Sean Fogarty. I've not spoken to him yet. I'll give him a ring, actually, after I finish this. And
I'm sure
you will be able to, if we do the watch-along for Brighton, and I'm with my dad, I'm sure we'll be able to have a chat and get him on the instant reaction afterwards, so people will be able to have a chat. And because everyone loves to see Dad, but he'll obviously be disappointed.
I'm sure Reed's going to have a very humorous take on it, as always.
He always does, Matt. Matt, it's been absolutely brilliant having you. Your sound has been a bit better. We need to just try and tweak it up, and I think we need to try and find you a light bulb.
All right, Dave. Cheers.
Nice one. Cheers, Matt.
Man. Cheers.
Top lad thingy. Derek Pugh says Lifted. Carl Whitehouse, Lifted is a good song by the line. I do love that. Ocean Drive is a good tune too. Joe says Lifted. I'll tell you what, we have culture on this channel. We don't just talk about the football. Stu Kerrs, has Matt been captured? I don't know. We'd have to ask him. We have one final guest who often loves being the bookend. We haven't seen him for a while, so we'll find out why. But welcome back. Welcome back, Scott. Where have you been?
Busy. Got a new job. And then Brushbury obviously takes up a lot of my time. So it just happens that I've missed a few games and been busy. But I was meant to come on for the Liverpool one, but again, got busy and couldn't come on. But I'm here now.
And what's the new job that you got?
Just a small night job working in a warehouse.
So all pays the money, mate. So you've been probably, if you're working nights and then running Bushbury, and then you've got how many kids?
4.
God, man.
So yeah.
You must be cream crackers, but you do look quite fresh-faced today. Have you had your hair cut?
Yeah, I've had it cut, yeah.
You look quite fresh. And look, here we go. Look, here we go. Andy says, let's set up a Just Giving page for Matt and get him 100-watt light bulb. You guys pick me off. Merv Bennett says, Scotty. Stu Castle, Scott. Patrick Moran, good lad, Scott. Fair play, mate. Hello, Scott. And Pedro the Golf says, we'll talk about new midfielder. How about we try Morgan Gibbs White?
Good point.
Adrian says, I hope it's all just donations for a light bulb and not to pay a ransom. You guys do crack me up. Mate, I've got to also say as well, I am digging your wallpaper.
Yeah, Mrs.'s choice. Yeah.
No, you're just passing that. You wanted the pink flowers, didn't you, mate?
No, the Mrs. chooses the wallpaper. I get the posters.
And what are your posters? Supernatural
and Doctor Who.
Oh man, you Doctor Who. You've got all the doctors on there.
Yeah, it's an old poster. So which side is it? It's an old poster. So literally, it goes up to Matt Smith, but Peter Capaldi and Jodie Whittaker are not on it.
Absolutely, and I tell you what, I'm a big Doctor Who fan as well. And I would like to, before we get onto the game, I think we're having a bit of culture. Who is your favourite Doctor from all time ever?
Well, see, I got to watch like the rebirth of Doctor Who when it came out under Russell T Davies, but when I was younger, we'd have to have our TV off by a certain time at night because we have to go to school and stuff. But I used to have a routine on BBC Two where I'd watch Dad's Army, Doctor Who, and then the snooker. Yeah. And I used to always have it down low on the volume. So if anybody came upstairs, I would quickly turn the TV off and pretend to go to sleep. And that's how I found Doctor Who. And the Doctor that I found on there was Tom Baker, and I've stuck with Tom Baker as my favourite ever since. Well, he's the one that got me into it.
Stu Kelser's Tom Baker. Carl Whitehouse, a very interesting choice, Sylvester McCoy. Tom Baker, mad as a hatter, said Patrick Moran. So that's quite good. So I've got to say, we will get onto the game. We're having a slight dive, but this is a podcast, so we're allowed to do these things. I would say that my favourite from the first lot Doctor is Tom Baker with his jelly babies.
Oh, I loved it. I loved it when he's like in any situation. It could be like they're about to get killed and he offers everybody a jelly baby just before he comes up with the great plan to get them out of the mess. It's fun. Tom Baker was just perfect for that role.
Robert says we will continue on the talking Doctor Who, Anthony. Robert says Silver has never been given a decent chance, needs to be used or loaned out. And would you bring back Gibbs White? We're going to get you to answer that question in a minute. But I'm Tom Baker, and of the since the new generation, I've got to go with Tennant.
See, Tennant's the easy one. Like everybody, like I'm a big fan.
He's not the easy one. He's the best one.
See, he is to a certain degree, but I have a special place for Peter Capaldi. I think Peter Capaldi was awesome.
No, I didn't like Peter.
I love Peter Capaldi.
You can't see this, but the producers go like this. So you know. Thinking, let's just come back to that. We'll come back onto that. But answer who? Jodie Whittaker's the worst, she says, but she's coming from a female.
For me, Jodie ain't bad. It's the writing that's let her down.
No, we've got so much culture. Let's answer Robert's question here. Wednesday night, Silver, does he get given a start? Yes or no?
Yes.
If he hasn't given a start, does he need to be loaned out?
Definitely, because at the minute, like there was questions, weren't there, about his attitude or something like that. But for me, he's the backup striker, and now Raul's out. You start him, but I honestly think he won't start him. I think he'll go with Traore again and probably Chan. Do you know what I mean? I don't see Silva getting into any of Bruno's plans right now. I don't know why though. I don't know why. I don't know what he's doing wrong to not be even.
Interesting to see what's that. And would you bring back Morgan in January?
See, this is the thing. It's a two-sided coin. For me, the way he's going on at the minute, for Sheffield United, absolutely, I'd bring him back. It's another option there, and you know, with the momentum that he's on, it could be a great addition. However, we've got to remember that's in the Championship. Premier League's a different kettle of fish. So can he do what he's doing in the Championship in the Premier League under Bruno's system and the way Bruno wants to play? So I don't know. For me, I've said it for a while now.
Although, would you not think that when we've got no midfielders, it'd be a better option? I mean, have a midfielder as an option to come on would be better than no midfielder.
I know, it's just
Bundle's close, but is he ready? Same thing.
I just wouldn't want us to get our expectations high if he did come back. Like, if people are expecting him to kick on from his performances he's been putting in for Sheffield United for doing it for Wolves, again, it's a different system, different manager, different way of thinking, and it's a step up. I know Championship, you can argue, is one of the hardest leagues in the world, but so is the Premier League, and I don't know. I don't think Morgan Gibbs White is a Premier League player.
One of the hardest leagues in the world to get out of. But obviously, the level of the Premier League, as is always identified by teams that come up, is just on a different level. We're going to come back onto the match, but we're just going to quickly go back to Doctor Who, because a lot of people have been talking about this. I'm a Doctor Who fan too. Tom Baker, Merv's Tom Baker is his first Doctor. Carl wants to put this in your thoughts, because we'll come back to this in a bit. Favourite alien, and Derek Pugh, John Pertwee. I like John Pertwee, plays his out. Derek says also awesome. Hello from New Zealand. Adrian says Morgan Given White is the answer. Adrian likes Matt Smith. I did quite like Matt Smith. Patrick Morgan said Tennant changed the show for the better. Carl writes Shuttle T. Davies back writing Doctor Who episodes in the new year. That's true, which I think will help a lot. Merv also says Fabio needs to play. He won't whilst he's at Wolves. Give him a loan. Patrick reckons give him 60 minutes, and I like Gibbs White. F1 Wolves says Silva should get more chances this season, so we can all agree William Josie was bad and worth his size. I don't know who's behind it, or that was Nuno or what. Stu Kelso thinks we should bring back until the summer window. January is a bad time to buy, so we can focus on a couple of signings rather than panic signings. Morgan Gibbs White. Adrian says no, we need an attacking midfielder. Derek reckons he's never shown the same quality in the Premier League.
I agree.
And then, would you sign a 6 months loan to get Dele Alli from Tottenham?
Would he even come out on loan?
Apparently, he's. I don't know. People are saying he's an option. I mean, I wouldn't mind Dele Alli coming out on loan personally. We're going to come back in a bit on the Doctor Who theme. So have a think about your favourite alien. But let's get stuck into because this is always interesting talking to you, Scott. Let's talk about the game. Where did you watch the game today?
At home with a very busy house.
We've got to kick Katie Merricks out because she says she doesn't like Doctor Who.
Oh, Kate, letting the team down here.
Carl says Dele Alli's been told by Spurs he can leave. So what did you feel about the game? And what did you feel about the key points of the game in terms of like the sendings off and, of course, that penalty decision?
For me, it goes back to what I've been saying for a while now. Premier League is the best league in the world. We have the best teams, the best players. You know, it's watched across the whole of the world. Yet we have the worst officials in the game. For me, anybody could see with that penalty for a start that it didn't touch his arm. Even when it hit here in his armpit, it didn't bounce up. It bounced straight back out. So for me, if it touched his arm, it was very slightly. And even then, like all the commentators were saying that it's never a penalty. Pundits have said it's not a penalty. So the only reason, and I know this might sound bad saying it, but the only reason why I can see Andre Mariner has told John Moss that's a penalty is because he's a Villa fan. It's as simple as that. Because it was never a penalty.
You know what? There's a lot of people that have been saying that he's a Villa fan.
Yeah.
And he's
there's
not.
There's a guy. There's a very talented guy, and I'll give him a shout out, called Bob Lawton, who does pictures, like comedy pictures. He draws from every game that happens.
Yeah, and he's done one tonight, hasn't he?
Yeah, where literally Andre's
wearing a Villa shirt
at the computer. Yeah, and I wouldn't be surprised if that weren't the truth, because literally it wasn't a penalty.
Referees kit that they in shorts and socks and everything. I think. Which I don't really get why they would wear a referee's kit sitting in in a room. I can understand them maybe wearing the thing, but they have to wear full referee's kit.
See, I don't think John Moss had any control over the game. He was handing out bookings left, right, and centre, not just to us, but to Man City as well. And for some of them was stupid. Like if you look at the Raul incident, the first yellow card that he gave, no, it was never a yellow card. He got a bit of the blow. He did a bit, but he got the ball. So for me, it was a telling off. It wasn't a yellow because he wasn't bad either. Because Cancelo, I think it was the challenge was on, didn't even react to it. He just looked like, I've been stopped. Like he knew it was a free kick, but he booked him. Fast forward to the sending off. Yes, that is a yellow offence, and Raul should have known better, being on a yellow already, that he can't do that. But all I can think of, if you wanted me to defend Raul, is this adrenaline. You know, you're still stuck in a mindset. Like he was already talking to the ref about the ball needs to go further back. So he's still in that mindset of just wanting to get the game on. And then he's realised what he's done. And then, but John Moss for me just had no control over that game whatsoever.
He lost control, I agree.
Yeah. If you look at the first half, we were in that game. We could have got a point. You never know. We might have gone on to be better in the second half and win the game. But if you look at the second half, City turned up the heat, played the way City are always going to do, because City's a top club. And, you know, I was so proud of us for defending the way we were, and to lose the game on a decision that wasn't even correct.
Well, that goes back to Amy's point, wasn't it, when she came on? It's like, if we lose the game and it's a great move and it's a brilliant finish and they've picked us apart, okay, fair enough. But to lose it in the way that we did, through a very disputed penalty, if I was a City fan, I'd find that a very hollow victory against the 10-man Wolves. And
another thing I would add as well, from a point of view of watching it on the TV, BT Sports commentary of it was absolutely diabolical. Steve McManaman should be nowhere near a commentary box. They were taking the mick out of Wolves.
Really?
Yeah, like in the sense of like, this is poor by Wolves. You know, they should at least be having a few chances. And then when
10 men against City at the Etihad.
Exactly. And if you look at that, you know, the chance that Kilman had and Edison saved it right at the end. Just before that, McManaman said, well, Wolves already lost this game anyway. But, you know, they'll go on to next week. And then we went on the break and then we had that chance. And he went, oh, well, actually, they might get something. And I was thinking it's just sarcasm from him, because the guy's got a bad reputation with Wolves fans already. Wolves fans don't like him. They've gave him abuse on Twitter in the past for his comments. And he's publicly come out and said that he don't like Wolves anyway. So why the hell is that guy commentating our game? It didn't help that I don't even know what the name of the other commentator was, but he wasn't exactly great either. But add that, plus the poor refereeing from John Moss, then you add the red card into it. That first half, I ain't going to swear, but like I was not happy, let's put it that way. And it was the most bizarre first half of football, ended in the most bizarre way. And the only positive that I could put on it is we defended really well as a team in the second half to hold City back for as long as we did. And we would have got a point if it weren't for that stupid decision. The Wolves fans were in full force, again, singing their hearts out. You could hear them all through the TV. Where Man City, anytime the camera pan round, you could see chairs galore. And I agree with the Man City fan. Man City's away support. You do hear friends of mine who are Man City fans tell me that their away support has always been better than at home. But still, if we have a stadium like that, you want to be selling it out.
I was talking, interestingly, Scott, because we went to Starbucks after. This is just to be clear, we're not sponsored by Starbucks, and this is no way a plug. And there are other coffee shops that you may visit. But we went and had a cup of tea and a cake. And obviously there's some Man City fans. And we were talking to them about the atmosphere. And the guy that was with us, he says it's like they have so many tourists that come. They come to Manchester and go to the game. He says each week we've got someone different sitting next to us. And they just sit there and don't get in the game. And maybe that's some of the issue, potentially.
But that's the thing. Like, if you've got tourists, that's a good thing in the sense that your club is well known. People have come all the way to come and watch your game. We have it with American fans that come over and watch us.
I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. Because,
exactly.
Like, we have fans. I think it's people that have just come over. It's like if you go to Barcelona and all day, if you can get into a game, you'll go.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily think they're Man City fans as such. I mean, like Adam from LA, he's a Wolves fan, and he comes on here on the podcast now, and he's got into sport. But I think that what they're saying is they have people that have got no real interest. They just come as an experience, a day out.
Just a quick one when you mentioned Adam. With his connection to Lincoln Park, I have kind of a small connection to Lincoln Park too. I named my son.
You like the forgotten band member?
No, my son, my youngest one. I named him after Chester. Yeah. So I'm a massive fan. Lincoln Park played a huge part in my life growing up. All their songs, and when Chester died, it was the only time I think I've ever got emotional about a celebrity dying. But yeah, I named my son after him because his music meant that much to me.
There's an interesting take. Now, Scott, we're going to be coming on in a minute to the performance rating and also the man of the match. So, guys in the chat, start to think about your performance rating and man of the match. I'm going to give you the go in a minute. But before we get onto that, we do need to know what your favourite Doctor Who alien is.
Well, for me, growing up with Tom Baker and stuff, I got to see some of the most iconic villains that he went up against. But then over time, as I got older and I have access to DVDs and stuff like that, I've watched all the Doctors and I'm up to date. So for me, the main one will always be the Daleks.
Yeah.
Like most people. But then if you wanted a top 5, for me, it'd be Daleks, followed by the Cybermen, followed by the Ice Warriors.
The Ice Warriors, yeah.
Yeah, I love the Ice Warriors, followed by the Sontarans, which that's one thing I'm grateful for with this modern Doctor. They've brought them back a lot more, yeah. And then the last one, the Master, because the Master is literally...
See, Scott, you've
awesome.
You've missed out the Sea Devils.
Oh, God, no.
You missed out the Sea Devils, Scott.
Trust me, there's so many iconic characters on Doctor Who, from companions to aliens to the actual Doctors themselves. See, Weeping Angels is probably one of my favourite modern ones, yeah, definitely. But I'm a classic guy. I like the old ones and stuff like that. And the Master, what's good about the Masters is as well, he always finds a way to survive. Do you know what I mean? Always. He'll come back as anything as long as he can keep going.
Yeah.
But no,
all I'm gonna go is you know what I mean, don't you? Fantastic. Listen, Gary Feeney says he grew up with Linkin Park and Chester's passing really hit me. I feel you, man. He will never leave me and will always be a big part of me growing up. Much love, bro, which is quite nice. Yeah. Let's get back onto the game. And me and you, when we meet up eventually, we'll have a proper natter about Doctor Who and everything, because we don't want to... and if any of you guys in the chat here want to throw in your favourite Doctor Who villain or monster, throw it in there and then start to think about the other question. But guys, first up, performance rating from Scott out of 10.
Overall, I'd say 7, just because that second half performance was worthy enough of getting us a point. And like I said, it got ruined by a stupid decision. But in the first half, we didn't really do much. We were in the game, but we didn't really have many chances. But I'd still say 7, because I felt bad for every single Wolves player on that pitch, being the hard work they've put in against a really good side like Man City, to not get nothing out of it because one guy got the decision absolutely wrong. Yeah, they deserve the 7 at least.
And guys, wait for all of you guys in the chat. Get ready, because I'm going to be asking you performance rating, your man of the match for the chat man of the match. But this is the pundits man of the match. And at the moment, Scott, it's 2 to Jose Sarr. It's 2 votes for Kilman and it's 2 votes for Connor Cody. So, Scott, you have the casting vote on the pundits man of the match. Who are you going for and why?
I like Kilman a lot. And Kilman's probably been one of the most consistent players at the back, along with Cody and Sace. But for me, I honestly think he's been better than Patricio. And I honestly think that's Jose Sarr. And he deserves the man of the match. Because if you look at the last couple of games, some of the saves he's pulled off has been incredible. And that's why I'm giving it him.
Scott, I've got to tell you now, this is very important, because the producer when you said Jodie Whittaker was doing, she's now going like that because you've got Jose Sá. But that's only half the vote. Only half the vote. So now everyone in the chat, go 3, 2, 1. Go your performance rating and your man of the match. Let's go. So Merv Bennett's gone 7.5675. Versus Kilman. Wolves F1 is giving it to Cody. Pedro Neto is the GOAT. He's giving it to 8 Norrie. So that's keeping track 1-1. 7.5 from Carl and Kilman. 7 and 8 Norrie from Thingy. That's 2 votes for Kilman and Thingy. Jonathan Mott's man of the match for City. Sá 7.95. Katie's going at 8 with Kilman. 8 and Sá from Gary. Trudy's 8 and Sá. Kirant's the GOAT, 8 out of 7. The Codicator. F1's going 8 Cody. Jose Sá. This is split again. 7 and Kilman. 8 and Sá.
I hope you're writing these down as you go along.
The GOAT, you can't have 2 votes. Robert Fletcher's going Sá. Current's the GOAT, you can't go. I think that's how many am I supposed to think? What's it? I'm going to look at this now. So I'm going to go Kilman 1. Kilman 1. 2. Yeah, can you count up the votes, producer? 4 for Kilman.
8 Norrie's got 1, 2.
8 Norrie has got
3, 4.
4.
4.
And then we've got Cody.
Sarah's got 1, 2, 3, 4,
Yeah.
5, 6, 7.
So Sarah's got
7.
7.
Cody has got 1.
We're sorry for the silence on the podcast. We're getting the code thing. We're getting the final result from Scott. Whilst we're waiting for that,
Go on.
so Jose Sá wins both the pundits and the chat vote. So I think that I also gave Jose Sá as my man of the match in my instant reaction. I don't know if you've watched it yet, but I think it's an overwhelming. Our man of the match from the channel today on both the pundit side and the chat side is Jose Sá. So there you go. We're going to go with Jose Sá, Scott.
What I would say is we should be. Sorry. What I would say is we should be proud of our defence as a whole. Anyway, the last few games, to look how many goals we've actually conceded compared. I know obviously we're not scoring many goals at the minute, but the defence as a whole has been incredible, and long may it continue, because once the goals do start coming, that'll go a long way for our position on the table.
Absolutely. And Carl says we should have a man of the match vote every time. I'll tell you what, Carl, I think it's a good idea. We'll have the pundits vote and we'll have the chat vote as well. It's a bit like what's that from the dance thing that they have on the what's it called? Not dance off. It's what's the show? It's a bit like Strictly and Eurovision. You've got the judges vote and then you've got the people's vote. So this is the pundits and the chat is the people's vote. So that's what we got.
Does that mean I need to start bringing a thing with a circle on and hold it up?
We can do. I reckon we should all have a stick and we can go 7, 8,
and then turn it around to reveal the man of the match.
That would be a good idea, Scott. That's up for your next one. Adrian Richards demanding a recoat. I cast 300 votes from Devon Wolves. But to finish it off, I think Katie here is basically saying the boys should hold their heads high today. I think we should all concur with that. It's been a fantastic. It's been a fantastic show. It's 1 hour 45 minutes, and it's gone like that, because we've had some fantastic guests right from the beginning, right through, and we've had some fantastic contributions again in the chat. Just to reiterate, there won't be an extra time show, probably won't be an extra time show for Brighton, but there will be an IFR, but there will be an extra time show for Chelsea, what time are we playing Chelsea? 12:30 again, is it? Let me know.
Yeah,
So
we're on
there'll
TV
be-
3 times, I think.
Yeah, so that'll be on the same day. Please, could you do us a favour? Smash, if you've enjoyed the content today, please smash a like on this video, leave some comments, feel free to share it. Check out my instant reaction after the game. The match vlog will be out on Sunday. We're hoping to get this up on podcast later tonight. If you've watched it live, thank you so much. If you're watching it back or listening to it back on the podcast, really hope you've enjoyed it. Merv said it's 2 p.m. on Sunday. Yeah. Patrick says, great show. Stu Kelsill, make an appearance one day. Yes, Stu, you'd be welcome. Gary says, cheers, that is another quality video. Yeah, thanks for everyone that's joined us as the members. You can all see, because you've got your green and your different colours on there. Wolves F1 as well, and Gary recently joining. Get on the Discord group. Trudy says thank you. Andy says thank you. Scott, thanks for being so patient and waiting to the end. It's much appreciated. And as I say, we'll hopefully get the podcast up in the next hour, and we'll look forward to Match of the Day. And as a special treat, as long as I can get it sorted, because I'm going down to my sister's on Wednesday, because they've got one of them special TV things that we can't talk about. Because I'm going to... It's on BT, is it? I'm not sure, but we will do a watch along just for old time's sake. So if you can join up with that, make sure you've liked follow the channel, hit the bell on so you won't miss it. And until the next one from me and Scott, you know what's coming next, don't you, mate?
Always Wolves.
Take care, guys.